Clouds. Have you ever noticed how much people moan about them? They get a bad rap. If you think about it, the English language is written into it negative associations. It might be a bit slow towards the clouds. Someone who is down or depressed, they are under a cloud. And when there's bad news in store, there's a cloud on the horizon. I saw an article the other day. It was about problems with computer processors over the internet. A cloud over the cloud was the headline. It seems like they are everyone's default doom and gloom metaphor, but I think they are beautiful. Don't you? It's just that their beauty is missed because they are so omnipresent. So I don't know, commonplace. That people don't notice them. They don't notice their beauty, they don't even notice the clouds, unless they get in the way of the sun. And so, people think of clouds as the things that get in the way. They think of them as the annoying, frustrating obstructions, and then they run off and do some blue sky thinking. But most people, when you stop to ask them, will admit to harbouring a strange sort of fondness for clouds. It's like a nostalgic fondness, and they make them think of their youth. Who here can't remember thinking while looking and finding shapes in the clouds when they were kids? You know, when you were masters of daydreaming, long, reflective pause. Aristophanes, the ancient Greek playwright, he described the clouds as the patron goddess of idle fellows. 2,500 years ago. And you can see what he means. It's just that these days, us adults seem reluctant to allow ourselves the indulgence of just allowing our imaginations to drift along in the breeze. And I think that's a pity. I think that perhaps we should do a bit more of it. I think we should be a bit more willing, perhaps, to look at the beautiful sight of the sunlight bursting out from behind the clouds and go, wait a minute, that's two cats dancing a salsa. Or seeing the big white puffy one up there above the shopping centre that looks like the abominable snowman going to rob a bank. They are like nature's versions of those ink blot images, you know, that shrinks use to show their patience. And if you consider the shapes you see in the clouds, you will save money on psychoanalysis, perhaps. But one thing I do know is this: the bad press that clouds get is totally unfair, and I think we should stand up for them. And that is why, a few years ago, I started the Cloud Appreciation Society. Tens of thousands of members, now in almost 100 countries around the world, and the society exists to remind people of this. Clouds are not something to moan about, far from it. They are, in fact, the most diverse, evocative, poetic aspect of nature. I think if you live with your head in the clouds, every now and then, it helps you keep your feet on the ground. If you look up and you pay attention to the skies, you'll see them sooner or later. You'll see them where you live. Clouds are the most egalitarian of nature's displays because we have a good, fantastic view of the sky. And these clouds, these rarer clouds, remind us that the exotic can be found in them every day. You don't need to rush off away from the familiar across the world to be surprised. You just need to step outside. Pay attention to what's so commonplace, so everyday, so mundane, that everyone else misses it. One cloud that people rarely miss, the cumulonimbus, storm clouds that produce thunder and lightning and hail. These clouds spread out at the top, and there is enormous anvil fashioned stretching 10 miles up into the atmosphere. They are an expression of the majestic architecture of our atmosphere. But from down below, they are the embodiment of the powerful elemental force and power that drives our atmosphere. To be there is to be connected in the driving rain and hail, to feel connected to our atmosphere. Is to be reminded that we are creatures that inhabit this ocean of air. We don't live beneath the sky, we live within it. And that connection, that visceral connection to our atmosphere, feels to me like an antidote. It's an antidote to the growing tendency we have to feel that we can really ever experience life by watching it on a computer screen. But the one cloud that best expresses why cloud spotting is more valuable today than ever is the cumulus cloud. It forms on a sunny day. If you close your eyes and think of a cloud, it's probably one of these that comes to mind. The sharp, crisp outlines of this formation make it the best one for finding shapes in. And it reminds us of the aimless nature of cloud spotting. What an aimless activity it is. You're not going to change the world by lying on your back and gazing up at the sky, are you? It's pointless. It's a pointless activity, which is precisely why it's so important. The digital world conspires to make us feel eternally busy, perpetually busy. You know, when you're not dealing with the traditional pressures of earning a living, putting food on the table, raising a family, writing thank you letters, you have to now contend with answering a mountain of unanswered emails, updating your Facebook page, feeding your Twitter feed, and cloud spotting legitimizes doing nothing. And sometimes we need excuses to do nothing. We need to be reminded by these patron goddesses of idle fellows that slowing down and being in the present, not thinking about what you've got to do and what you should have done, and just being here and letting your imagination lift from the everyday concerns down here and just being in the present. It's good for you. It's good for the way you feel. It's good for your ideas. It's good for your creativity. It's good for your soul. So keep looking up, marvel at the ephemeral beauty, and always remember to live life with your head in the clouds. Thank you.